Hi friends, welcome to day 4 to solve UPSC Prelims Questions 2017. Today we are going to deal with section Polity. I am Uma Maheshwari and I have cleared Civil Services Exam 2018. To know more about me, please pass the slide and read the info. Let's begin to win. Question number 1. Democracy's superior virtue lies in the fact that it calls into activity. Just read all the 4 options. The intelligence and character of ordinary men and women. Yes, democracy is based on the decision of the people. So, for democracy to be truly superior, the people should have intelligence and character. And hence, the direct answer to this question is option A. Mill tells virtue and intelligence should become genuine attributes of character in a citizen, and then through participation of people at large would be able to control the rulers by influencing the character and the direction of public policy. Question number 2. One of the implications of equality in society is the absence of, is it privileges, restraints, competition, or ideology? Yes, you're right. The answer is A, privileges. Inequalities are mainly due to privileges. When some people are given privileges, the others are becoming less powerful. So, to have a truly equal society, the privileges must be removed and hence the inequality. Question number 3. Which one of the following objectives is not embodied in the preamble to the Constitution of India? Please memorize the preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice. Justice is social, economic, and political, and not liberty. So, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Now, let's get back into the question. See, we can directly remove economic liberty. All other liberties are there, and hence the answer to this question is B, which is not embodied in the preamble. Be careful while reading the question. The mind of the makers of the Constitution of India is reflected in which of the following? When it comes to polity, please ensure that you have memorized the preamble, the fundamental rights, the directive principles of state policy, and the fundamental duties. When you have studied all these things, you can understand the entire constitution is like a miniature in the preamble. And hence the answer to this question is A, preamble. Preamble embodies the basic philosophy and the fundamental values of the Constitution. It contains the grand and noble vision of the Constituent Assembly and reflects the dreams and aspirations of the founding fathers of the Constitution. Actually, in the Beribari Union case 1960, the Supreme Court said that the preamble shows the general purposes behind the special several provisions in the Constitution and is thus a key to the minds of the makers of the Constitution. Question number 5. Which of the following are envisaged by the right against exploitation in the Constitution of India? Please do memorize all the rights along with their articles. In Article 23 and Article 24 deal with right against exploitation. Article 23 deals with prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor. And Article 24 deals with prohibition of employment of children in factories and mines. And hence the answer to this question is C, 1 and 4. Abolition of untouchability is under right to equality, and protection of the interests of minorities is under cultural and educational rights. Question number 6. Which one of the following statements are correct? Rights or claims of the state against the citizens. No, rights cannot be claims for the state. This is wrong. Rights are privileges which are incorporated in the Constitution of India. No, this is also wrong because rights are not privileges. Rights are claims of the citizens against the state. Yes, this is correct. Rights or privileges of a few citizens against the many. This is absurd actually. So the answer to this question is C. Question number 7. Which of the following statements are true regarding the fundamental duties of an Indian citizen? The legislative process has been provided to enforce these duties. No, this is wrong. They are correlative to legal duties. No, this is also wrong. So the answer to this question is D, neither one nor two. See, like the directive principles, the fundamental duties are also non-justiciable. They cannot be enforced in any courts. Question number 8. In the context of India, which one of the following is the correct relationship between rights and duties? You can read all the four, and the answer is rights are correlative with duties. Because rights are what we want others to do for us, whereas duties are those acts which we should perform for others. So one cannot enjoy a right if others do not perform their duties. So rights and duties are correlative and inseparable. Question number 9. Which principle among the following was added to the Directive Principles of State Policy by the 42nd Amendment to the Constitution? Actually, the 42nd Amendment added four main directive principles to the original list. Number 1, Article 39, to secure opportunities for a healthy development of children, to promote equal justice and to provide free legal aid to the poor, and to take steps to ensure that the participation of workers in the management of industries, which is Article 43A, to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard forests and wildlife, which is under Article 48A. And now you can easily answer this question, which is participation of workers in the management of industries, which is answer B. Question number 10. With reference to the Constitution of India, the directive principles of state policy constitute limitations upon legislative function, executive function. No, both are wrong, because it is the fundamental rights which constitute the limitations upon the legislative and executive functions to prevent the execution of arbitrary powers by the government. And so the answer is D, neither one nor two. DPSP or the constitutional instructions or the recommendations to the state in legislative, executive and administrative matters, and they are not limitations. Question number 11. Which of the following are not necessarily the consequences of the proclamation of the president's rule in a state? Please read the question carefully. It asks which are not the consequences. Dissolution of state legislative assembly. This is not a consequence, as state legislative assembly can be dissolved only after parliamentary approval. And removal of the Council of Ministers in the state, yes, this is correct actually. It is a consequence of the proclamation of President's rule. And dissolution of the local bodies, no. President's rule has nothing to do with the dissolution of the local bodies. And hence the answer to this question is B, 1 and 3. There is one more part today. Please do watch it. Thank you.